New Radio Sports Network and 1041 WRLU. Welcome to another edition of the show with head coach Pat Mikesch from the Green Bay Gamblers, coming off of a weekend sweep of the Youngstown Phantoms in Rochester, New York. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of those games, Coach, congratulations on the first sweep since November 8th and 9th. But also tell us a little bit about the atmosphere, because this wasn't, your normal USHL building by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was the building was great. The facilities, they took great care of us, but it was a youth hockey crowd that was there for their tournament, and probably a few different teams bringing their entire team, and then the odd individuals and some odd family members that were there. But it was an area where we had to make our own noise. I mean, we didn't have our loyal Gambler fans there to support us.
And did you notice if the fans were just kind of rooting for good hockey, or, obviously I'm guessing it's a neutral crowd because, Youngstown was the closest town to there by probably a few hundred miles even at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was a quiet crowd. We talked to our own guys about we're going to have to make our own noise and, be excited and kind of build momentum ourselves, because it was, a lot of people there just to see what a USHL game looked like. And so it was, there was nobody that I would say was strong Youngstown or strong Green Bay. It was just people there to watch some great hockey.
And you were able to win a pair of close games, 4-3 both times. Obviously, the Saturday matchup was in overtime. And how important is that for your team to have a weekend like that where you're able to pick up, pretty much all the points that you could out of it?
Yeah, we're coming out of a disappointing stretch. So, I mean, it was important. I thought our guys had a great week of practice kind of leading up to it, excited about, what this trip was going to be about. And then we got there, we had a nice morning skate on Friday, and then kind of just got into it. And there was a little feeling out process, I think, through the atmosphere and everything by both teams. But, Coach Patterson's Youngstown team is a heavy team. They're hard to play against. They've got great goaltending. And, we kind of just had to stick with our game and, let things that we do well kind of come through the process. And the Friday night game was a very low offensive game on both sides. The analytics showed it, but it was even a feeling out process that entire night. And then the second night, even though both games were the exact same score, the second game had a lot more offense, I thought, both ways, and some odd numbered rushes and some chances for both sides.
And do you kind of see that maybe helping out your team at that point, maybe even to the point of maybe getting into their own games a little bit more, even when they're on the road, especially because they won't have that friendly crowd behind them, or obviously in that case, it was a neutral site crowd. Do you kind of find that as almost like a galvanizing moment for your team?
Yeah, I mean, it was great that we just focused on our own and, worried about each other. When we go on the road, sometimes that visiting crowd can kind of give you some momentum because, you're excited to play in front of them. You're excited to make them be quiet for a stretch of time. And, this was a situation where it was us just worrying about ourselves, focusing on our game. And I thought our guys stuck to the principles extremely well. And two very tight games and situations where we had good third periods. Which is an area that you want to be strong in this time of year.
Yeah, especially in that second game, you go down 2-0 right away, and you're able to come back right away in that second period and tie that up. And how contagious is winning and scoring sometimes, especially when you're coming out of a month like November?
Well, I mean, you want to build off of it now. It's important that we get back and have a great week of practice. We're going to play a Madison team that we've had some success against, and then we've had some failures against. So we need to lock in, and it'll be a different brand of hockey this week. The speed of the game will go up quite a bit facing this Madison team that transitions extremely well. So it's going to be a change of pace that way. And for us, every time we've played Madison, we've struggled to really control the puck and have our ozone game. So I think that'll be a point of emphasis for us here this week, is to really script out what's going to be important to us and how we're going to spend more time with that puck.
And that's got to be unique as well. You come from that neutral site game to hopefully two good crowds in Madison and Green Bay that, especially in Madison's case, they didn't have a hockey team last year because of the pandemic and things like that. And obviously Green Bay, a great supportive team there as well. So That's got to be kind of interesting. You won't have to bring your own juice to the rink either of those nights, I'm sure.
No, we're gonna have to jump off the bus on Friday, ready to play, and understand that they're a team that when we make it easy on them, when they get easy pucks, they're really good in transition, and so we're gonna have to try to dictate things on the road and make sure we're locked in that way, and then get excited to come back Saturday and play in front of the Resch fans, and then a big hairball night with the concert to follow.
Have you ever seen Hairball? I finally saw them the other day. I'm just like, holy smokes. Like there's cover bands and then there's Hairball, which is just a fantastic
I've heard
show.
they're great. Yeah, I haven't seen them. I've had friends from Northern Michigan reaching out excited about this game because they've followed Hairball in the past. So this should be it sounds like it's right back to my college days for the most part, and a lot of 90s music. So it should be an interesting one.
Yeah, we've talked about your music fandom in the past. I think Hairball is going to be right up your alley.
It sounds like it, yes.
And coming off of that trip in Rochester, who were some of the players that really stuck out to you as maybe taking a big step forward here as we head into deeper into December?
I'll say it was great team hockey. Aaron Randazzo made the stops he needed to. Our team defense was great in those crucial times, those third periods. But to get Ryan Green scoring a couple goals there on Saturday, he was out Friday with a suspension and a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, I think, on Saturday, and wanted to come out and have a good game. And we need him scoring. He's been a little bit snake bit and had his opportunities, but it hasn't been going in. And so for him to get those 2 goals, I think that was crucial as we kind of hit this second third of the season moving forward.
You mentioned before a Madison team, you faced them a few times already this season. Heck, this is going to be your second home series against them this season. You've had some success. You've had your failure. When you reflect on those games, what was maybe the difference in those successes and failures?
Well, I think a lot of it is that puck possession. We're a team that's built around having 5.5 minutes to 6 minutes of ozone time with that puck. And we've been in the 3.5 minute window against that group. So I think that'll be a big part of it, is how do we establish that and then maintain it. They've got a great goaltender. So it's not going to be, we can't limit ourselves to 1, 2, 3 opportunities. We have to make sure we're generating multiple.
Joined by head coach Pat Mikesch. Coach, what will it take to continue this positive momentum that you have going with your team?
Well, I think that's the point of emphasis, is just maintaining, that team defense that we played, and then building off of the offensive production and moving forward. It's fun when you can kind of carry over a positive weekend, but we need to go out and have a great first period on the road now against a really good Madison team.
And looking ahead here, obviously, a few more home games in the month of December, and how nice will it be that, for the most part, things will be kind of back to normal at this point. You may not have to be a Cornerstone as much. Obviously, I think when Disney on Ice is, you get kicked out for a little bit, but you'll be in familiar rinks. You'll be in familiar situations. You already kind of have the return of those back-to-back homestands and road trips. How important is that to get into that routine?
It's nice to be back home here. It was a tough trip with the travel and busing to Milwaukee, flying and everything like that. So it's nice to get back. We have 5 games here before our guys go on their break, and these 2 here with a home and home, and then a 3-3 next weekend. But our only travel is our shortest trip. Both weeks we go to Madison this Friday. We go to Madison next Thursday, and the other 3 games are at home. So we just need to, focus on getting to that break and doing things the right way. And that's kind of what we accomplished last week, was a great team game, and we want to build off of that.
Once again, Gamblers on the road Friday night. They'll face Madison, and then we'll have the game for you on 104.1 WRLU and NewRadioSportsNetwork.com against that same Madison Capitals team. As we're hoping that instead of, looking for that first win in November and getting it at the end, that we go perfect in December. A good start already, going 2-0 against Youngstown last weekend. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time, and good luck this weekend against Madison.
Thanks, Tim.
And for the new radiosportsnetwork.com, I'm Tim Coles.